Hi everybody and welcome to session 2. Let's go into the content and I'm going to take you through a quick walkthrough of the session. So far we've had session 0 orientation, session 1 was last couple of weeks, we're entering session 2, another 2-week module, and then just a reminder that you've got these field experience orientation materials that I forced you to read earlier in the semester, but if you click here, these are here for you. This is the page that most of you read with information about the field experience, and then I've created these additional pages for folks who have chosen the UCode and Smart Club options. So those are here as well. At any point you can come here and look at them, and also for those of you who've chosen the UCode Smart Club option, beginning in session 2, on the session 2, on all of the activities pages from session 2 through 6, there will be a section in here with all of your UCode, the pages that you need to get the things done that you want to do. So I made you guys a checklist, and so I'm going to tell you about this now, and I won't tell you about it in a minute when I go through the module, but you have a checklist of things that you can mark off that you've done them so that you can keep straight what you need to do to get your 8 hours. Here's the main page that you really want to look at, and from here, from this main page, these different things are actually linked, but I also put them here just to help you. But really, you only have to go to this main page, and from within it, these 3 pages will be available. But again, for handy reference, you'll see this in every activities page of every session from now on. Okay, so for everybody, let's talk about session 2. The session begins with a checklist. So like last time, you can check off the things as you do them. And you can click through here on the right. Don't forget about the course plan. It tells you when things are due. It gives you a big picture of what is due when. So take a look at that. Okay, so don't forget about that course plan. Check it out. This week, in this session, that is, we have an amazing short story about Ruby Bridges. So if you have time, go and listen to that amazing story of a little girl in some tough circumstances, though she didn't quite understand it at the time. It's an interesting intersection of society and education. Okay, so let's look at session 2 activities. Be sure that you have learned about the field experience assignment, the big project due at the end of the semester. I realize that you all have passed a quiz that says that you've learned about the field experience, but at the time of making this video, 25 of you have not yet declared your field experience. So I'm asking those of you who have not yet picked out what you're going to do to go ahead and make that decision, try to get that done by the end of session 2. Let's get you rolling on this big project. You can revisit this field experience orientation page for full details. In particular, a really important set of details is located here where it says instructions, field experience, timesheet, and reflection. That really tells you what this assignment entails. Okay, so I already mentioned that if you picked the UCode option, here are resources for you that will be here every time you come into any new session. So y'all check those out and get going on those things. We've actually got one of you who's almost finished with them because she contacted me, and she's been coming with me to Carrollton Elementary to do her field experiences a little bit early, but it's kind of funny. She's probably going to be almost finished with all of this by the end of January, which is kind of amazing. But it does go to show that 10 hours, or really the 8 hours that I ask you to do in addition to the 2 that are embedded in the projects, it doesn't take that long to get it done. All right, so take a moment to glance at other course projects. This is really just for your own sanity and help. If it helps you to look ahead at these course projects, feel free to. I provide links to the instructions here. There should be links to these instructions also in the drop boxes, so if you were to click Dropbox up here, for the most part I think I've got these linked up properly. Let me know if that's not the case, but they should be linked, but you can check those out ahead of time. And finally, let's get to the session 2 issue. Just like last time, you're going to be blogging in response to a particular prompt. You're going to submit your post to the Dropbox, and you're going to promote your post on the Google community as well. You're going to then read two peers' posts and respond. And be sure you're responding on the Google community and not on their blog posts. Okay, sometimes people respond directly on other people's blog posts. That will be very hard for you to find later on if that's what you're doing. So respond on the Google community. The Google community is kind of like Facebook. Respond in the Google community so that you can find your posts when you need them later in the semester. And so we all can see what you're talking about. Okay, so let's go to the session 2 issue. In this session, we look at education from a federal level, which, though arguably is not the most important layer or policy level related to influencing education, it is still very important because it's what gives us things like the recent standards movement of the past decade or so. It gives us the Common Core standards and controversy with that. It gives us Race to the Top. It gives us the No Child Left Behind Act. Things that do have a big impact on education. So that's what we're going to sort of focus on in this session is federal level issues. There's a fabulous chapter that we're going to read from this book, and it gives you a quick history of federal issues starting from about 1980 to the present. So it's a little bit, perhaps it's a little bit more dry than reading a piece on the Huffington Post, but I hope that you will get situated somewhere and give it a serious read through. And I ask these sort of leading questions, provide additional materials in addition to the book chapter. I want you to check out these other more brief things. So here's a quick document from the U.S. Department of Education about how the U.S. Department of Education sees the federal role in education. Here is the book chapter. No, this is not the book chapter. This is the book chapter. Sorry. This is a short piece on why we still need public schools, and I've asked you to read just 3 or 4 pages of it, so not very much, on why we still need public schools. And of course, you don't have to agree with everything you read here, okay? Sometimes people are sort of arguing persuasively, but that doesn't mean it's the only way to see an issue. Here's a quick video on Sir Ken Robinson on the problems and promises of education. Gives a good perspective. And then finally, the book chapter, chapter 13, American Education in the 21st Century. So you guys can download that. You can print it if you want to. And then what I want you to do is look at one or more of the sections provided in the Urban Wagoner reading, sections B through F, and summarize the section in your own words. So you're going to pick a section from B through F, like B, it's education in George W. Bush, education in the Obama administration, accountability and its discontents, Common Core standards, or charter schools. And you're going to summarize the section in your own words. So you're basically going to shorten it. Give me an abbreviated synopsis of what that section was about, what was said in that section. Not your opinion, just coldly what was said. Do not quote directly without putting quotation marks. In fact, if you're doing a synopsis, you really don't need quotation marks for the most part. There might be a few things you want to quote, but for the most part, it really needs to be in your own words so you can keep it kind of brief too, and so you can show that you actually read it. What I don't want to see is that you lift a whole paragraph and put quotation marks around it and think that's your synopsis, please. Because that and I'm only dwelling on this because it happened with several people last fall, and I had to explain how that wouldn't work. All right, so you're going to summarize that section in your own words. Then I want you to go out on the web and locate and link to at least 3 resources that add to your understanding of that issue. And then kind of tie in those resources, explain how they add to the conversation. So if you go find resource number 1, you need to read through it, and then provide at least one sentence explaining how it expands your knowledge of the section you summarized. So for example, if you want to focus on education in the Obama administration with an emphasis on race to the top, then you're going to summarize this section, right, in your own words, and then you're going to go find 3 resources about race to the top. You might want to focus on race to the top in the state of Georgia, race to the top in the state of Illinois, sorry. You know, because it's going to be seen differently in different states, because different states have different race to the top programs. Go find those resources and kind of tie them into what you've read from the book chapter. So give me at least a sentence where you tie them in, okay? I know that confused people a little bit, because sometimes folks would just find 3 resources and they dump the links into their blog post, but that didn't really show me that they did anything beyond Googling race to the top, for example, and then just throwing that in there. You've got to tie it in, connect it a little bit, okay? Additional readings, these are definitely optional for you. And once you get through the blog post and you posted it, you shared it in the Dropbox, if you have time, check out the Ruby Bridges Attends an All-White School. I'm going to unblock this unsafe script. There we go. And it's another fantastic BBC witness piece. I think I had a witness piece in the previous session. And it's just really great. Ruby Bridges was, I think she was in kindergarten when she went to an integrated school. She didn't really know what all was going on, but she remembers it. And it's just interesting to hear her reflect on it now, decades later, about what it means to her now. All right, so this is session 2. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you find something beneficial. Keep in mind that you want to try to maybe jot down some takeaways that you can put into your field experience reflection. If there's something from this session, from the materials about the federal level, for example, that you you want to remember, jot them down, jot down some takeaways. All right, guys, let me know if you need any help. Thanks.